Hello, and welcome to our breathing space mindfulness session for today, which is the 21st of September. And this will be a body scan. So if you would like to find, I'm just waiting for everybody in our group to find a posture, or maybe find a comfy bed or a settee or a mat to lie down on. And remembering that our posture for a body scan should be one that gives us a sense of security, stability, and connection with the ground. And that ground can be a bed or a mat, but just the fact that we're supported. And if you're feeling particularly tired right now, you could always choose to sit or even stand for a body scan if you prefer. Generally, a body scan is all about, surprisingly enough, connecting with the body. So I'll be guiding you to invite your attention into different parts of the body. But also, we can use this as a base from which to then observe any thoughts or to feel emotion in the body. Also, to recognize impulses. Very often, when we lie down and do nothing, there's this urge to do something. And that really is coming in from our day-to-day life where there's so much busy. We just go from one thing to the next, that our body and our mind become accustomed to rushing around and doing things. When we lie down to do a body scan where there is literally nothing to do, the body goes, whoa, I should be doing something. And the mind goes, oh, yeah, I bet there's 1,000 things to do. And suddenly there's this impulse, you know, an extreme version. I've got to go clean the fridge or got to go and sweep the floor, got to go and tidy up all those things that are lying around or literally anything. So when we notice that impulse, can we just observe it? We can be the compassionate observer. If you excuse me a second, I'm going to disappear off screen and I'm going to find my compassionate observer because he's over here. So here's our compassionate observer. This is my compassionate observer here. And if you don't know who this is Mr. Spock from Star Trek. And he has his little tricorder here because he's a scientist and he spends his life investigating things. And he's famous for going, oh, that's very fascinating. That's very interesting. That's a nice thing. I want to kind of observe that a little bit more. But people believe Vulcans have no emotion. It's not true, actually. They're very emotional, compassionate people, but also try to maintain a sense of kind of equilibrium and balance. So if you have impulses that are kind of spinning around, pushing you into doing things, or emotions that make you feel an extreme of this or that, we can always channel a little bit of our inner Vulcan and try and observe them too with a little bit of measured and balanced equanimity. So we'll put our compassionate observer on the desk here, and he can keep an eye on what's happening in our meditation. So definitely curiosity, definitely as kind of, yeah, oh, that's interesting. But there's no need to go rushing around and following the impulse or getting caught up in the thought or um, or getting too tangled up in the emotions. Just observe. So let's begin. I'm sure that's given everybody enough time to find the blankets or the drink of water, whatever you need for your practice. So let's begin right here. And we begin, as always, by just arriving into the physical body and noticing how the body is supported by the bed, the mat, or the settee that is holding our body. We can tune into those points of contact, maybe under the head, shoulders, the back, the hips, possibly also the arms, legs. Feeling this sense that we can let go of efforting, allow the body to be supported and held, secure and stable. As we begin to tune into those sensations of being connected to the bed or the chair, inviting this deliberate slowing down, tuning in with a deliberately more focused and mindful awareness. Maybe we begin to hear the sounds in the world around us. Maybe we begin to feel the movement of the breathing in the body. As we breathe, perhaps just inviting our legs to feel a little bit heavier. Allowing the weight of the legs to be supported and received by the bed or the settee beneath you. As we continue to breathe, feel that breathing in the body. We can invite the arms to feel just that little bit heavier. Allow the weight of the arms to be received by and supported by the cushions, the mattress. Just letting go of efforting, allowing this being here to be effortless. And then as we continue to feel the breathing in the body, inviting the head and the neck just to be received by pillow or cushion. Feel the weight of the head being supported. Just let go of effort. And finally, the back, the torso, where we feel the breathing itself, just also inviting a letting go, allowing the weight of the body to be held and supported by the mat, this mattress beneath you. As we rest here, effortless, just like a butterfly sitting on a leaf with the rise and the fall of the breath coming in, the breath going out. And we could imagine a lake, deep lake, just dropping a pebble into that lake. And as the pebble slowly falls down through the water, we can imagine that pebble like a question coming into you. How am I right now? That pebble falls down through the water. It might ask a question of your mind. You can be aware of anything that's occupying your thoughts right now. That pebble's slowly sinking, so we don't linger too long, just a sense of the general goings on of the mind right now. As the pebble sinks further, might connect with any emotional energy. You might get maybe a sense of the emotional feeling tone that you have right now. And then this pebble eventually comes and lands at the bottom of the lake. And we can use that to just ask a very general question of the body. Yeah, what's the kind of physical energy like in the body today? as you lie, like the pebble at the bottom of the lake, you might observe little fishies darting backwards and forwards. They might be like impulses or thoughts coming into our awareness, and we can observe them. Our compassionate observer here might take a look at those fishies as they swim by and say, "Oh, that's fascinating." We can observe them and notice if they have a particular quality or energy, but we don't need to go swimming with them. We can rest here like the pebble, still and secure and stable at the bottom of the lake. Just tuning in now more deeply to the movement of breathing in the body. Inviting our curiosity to noticing whether we feel that movement of breathing in the belly, in the chest, maybe if we're lying down, we might also feel it in the shoulders and the back. So we invite our compassionate observer here to just take a look more closely at the qualities of this breathing as it's felt in the body. Noticing on the in-breath and the out-breath where the movement of breathing is felt most present. So let's take a little scan around the body now. And whatever you notice coming into meditation today, busy mind or a particular emotional state or a particular energy in the body or an impulse to do something, as best we can, just allow those to be. And we will use our focus turned into the body to go underneath those thoughts, those emotions, and those impulses, and see if we can tune into how they manifest in the body, or even noticing that there are other things going on as well. Thoughts often become so present that we feel like there's nothing else, you know? Sometimes the emotional state is so strong, it's all we can feel. Sometimes if there's a particular impulse, uh, we believe it's the only thing that needs to be, you know, noticed or obeyed. Let's see if we can go underneath all these and see sometimes if we connect to parts of the body, there's a different sensation or something new and interesting that's outside of those most immediate things. And maybe in some parts of the body, we might connect to that thought or that emotion or that impulse but connect to it through the embodied sensations. And again, no need to do anything. We're not going to change anything. We're just going to observe like a curious Vulcan. Notice all the different qualities of what we find. So maybe on an in-breath and an out-breath, inviting our attention now all the way down into the feet. As we begin to sense our curiosity landing in the feet, we could begin just by systematically checking in with sensations on the surface of the feet, noticing perhaps if the feet are open to the air or if they're in contact with socks or shoes. Maybe there's a perception of temperature. And we could try going a little deeper. Maybe we could tune in just to the toes. And we notice the big toes. And we feel the little toes. And maybe the toes in between. And we invite attention now into the soles of the feet. And the tops of the feet. Maybe the heels of the feet. We go inwards. Are there any sensations in the muscles or the bones inside the foot? And we can notice if this has a feeling tone, which is a more of an emotional reaction. Is there a sense of pleasant or unpleasant in what we find? Or maybe neutral? And around that, there might be some thinking, maybe boredom or wishing to get rid of this focus on the feet. So maybe something you want to avoid or really not spend too much time with. And if we notice that too, you can bring your curious observer and go, oh, there's that reaction. That's very fascinating. Maybe just turn your attention a little bit closer. And of course, if there's this sense of, oh, this is nice, we can notice that too. And then, of course, we can use our mindfulness to intentionally let go of our focus on our feet and invite the attention now up into the lower legs. So we come up through the ankles, we come up through the calf muscles, the shins, up to the knees. And we just invite our curiosity to rest here, explore, noticing any sensations in the skin, the muscles, or the bones. And Mr. Spock here with his little tricorder, sometimes when he's investigating something, he doesn't get a reading. He has to change the settings on his tricorder, maybe a different frequency or a different wavelength. So just stay with those lower legs and notice if, as you tune in different ways, maybe different sensations begin to arrive into awareness. And again, there might be some sensations that feel very pleasant. We can linger and just notice all the qualities of what makes this such a pleasant sensation. Really take in all the good, feel it, how that pleasant and feels through the body or any thoughts it might bring up. And equally, if there's anything unpleasant, we should try and pay the unpleasant as much attention as we can, like a friend taking notice when someone's trying to tell you something and maybe what they're saying is a little bit unpleasant, but we try our best to be a compassionate friend and to listen, to be there for them. So if there's anything unpleasant that we feel in the sensations of those lower legs, can we try to be a kind of befriending, curious listener to what the legs have to tell us? So let's take a breath in, acknowledge what we found, acknowledge any thoughts that brought up or any reactivity, maybe even a sense of boredom or restlessness or I'm finding this difficult today. Doesn't matter anything that's come up. We can acknowledge that as part of our practice and remain the observer of the real person that we are as a human being, experiencing life as we lie here doing this body scan. So we can invite our attention now up through the knees and into the thighs, all the way up towards the pelvis. Let's just first take a moment to arrive here, noticing any sensations on the skin, in the muscles, in the bones. And if you notice that you're falling to sleep around about now, try making that part of your practice too, noticing the drifting off into sleep. And maybe our curiosity might be interested in what happens when we notice that we've been asleep. That thinking, maybe a judging, a reaction. Just be curious. Oh, that's interesting. Very fascinating, those thoughts. Very fascinating, those feelings. And then just take notice and return our attention into some part of the upper legs. Taking a breath in, a breath out, we can let go of the upper legs. On our next in breath, we can tune into the back, coming up through the pelvis on the spine, around that, the muscles of the back, the ribs, the shoulder blades, maybe even just coming up to the shoulders. And rather than trying to notice everything here, just see what pulls your attention. And then explore each sensation in turn as it arises and then maybe fades from your attention. Once more, maybe taking extra curiosity into whether these sensations feel pleasant or unpleasant. Then tuning in our curiosity to understanding those like a compassionate friend, taking in the good, really feeling all the layers of that pleasant experience and tuning into the uncomfortable and really giving it a bit of friendly attention. Of course, we can invite a little bit of softness into anything that feels tense or uncomfortable. Just notice what happens as we do. Let's let go of the back now. There's no obligation in a body scan that we find every single sensation. We're just visiting different parts of the body and seeing what comes into awareness when we arrive. So let's let go of the back and come up now. Let's go to the neck next. The neck, the jaw, the throat. Feel the bones and the muscles of the neck supported by whatever cushion or pillow is supporting your head. Maybe also very conscious of the back of your head connected to the pillow. Coming round to the throat, perhaps there's an awareness of air temperature. And then within the throat, maybe we feel the pulse, swallowing, or even a sense of the air that comes down through the throat into the lungs. Noticing if the jaw is relaxed or tense. The tongue inside the mouth, is it relaxed or tense? Well, we're there. I'm curious about the way the tongue senses the teeth, how the teeth feel when we investigate them with our tongue. And maybe noticing the difference in sensations of lips touching or eyelids touching if we have our eyes closed. Get a sense generally of the face, the skin of the face and the muscles, maybe an awareness of air temperature, humidity, the brow, noticing if it's furrowed or relaxed. Also, sometimes we can tune into sense of tension or relaxation around the eyes. And while we rest here with the neck, the head, the face, again, let's just pause and notice if any of these sensations feel particularly pleasant or unpleasant, or if there's just a kind of neutral today. And then just linger and notice what that's like. Notice the qualities of pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. So let's let go of those now. We can bring our attention now down through the arms. You're lying down, maybe the arms might be by your sides or they might be folded over your chest or your belly. Let's just tune in though, as always, to the skin, the muscles, the bones, noticing any sensations that come into awareness. Hmm. Can we feel into the palms of the hands, backs of the hands? What about the fingers, the thumbs? Anything particularly pleasant, unpleasant, or maybe just neutral? Spending a few moments just getting to know those sensations a little better. And now let go of the hands. Let's come into the belly again. Reconnect to the breathing in the center of the body, in the belly, in the chest, in the back, in the maybe even felt in the arms or the shoulders. Around that, connect to the digestion in the belly, the guts, and the area around the heart as well. Definitely here, there might be a sense of pleasant or unpleasant, a feeling tone, an emotional tone. So let's just spend some time just resting here in the heart space, in the belly, in the breathing. Connect to anything we feel pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral in this part of the body. And from now till the end of our practice, which is probably another 10 minutes or so, you don't need to worry about the time. I'll keep an eye on the clock for you. But I'm just going to invite you to just rest in what we call choiceless awareness, sometimes called open awareness, mind like an open sky. So we might find that there's a sensation from the body or an emotion or a thought, sound from the world around you, an impulse to do something. And they're like fish swimming through the fish tank. They just fly through this open mind. We notice them. We might pay attention, notice if they've got a particular energy or feeling tone, pleasant, unpleasant, interesting, curious, but then we can let them go. Certainly not going to get into the fish tank with the fish. We're just going to watch them. Curious. Yeah. Oh, that's very curious. What's going on in that fish tank over there? Oh, very curious. What's going on in those thoughts, in those emotions, in the sounds around us? We just notice, just curious. And I will give you silence to do that. So just resting in open awareness. You could connect to your body and your breathing, and then just see what happens, what comes into awareness. Just be curious, befriend, listen to the sensations in the body, notice the thoughts, the impulses. When you're ready, you can let them go. Come back to your breathing, see what comes up next. So, some silent practice of just what we call choiceless awareness. in the last couple of minutes of our practice, you can just continue to rest in your breathing and your body under my words. First of all, just give yourself a well done for being here right now for this hour that you've spent in your mindfulness practice. And this is time that you've given yourself as a gift to really connect to body, mind, emotions, thoughts, to be the compassionate observer to the patterns of thinking that might be going on right now, or habitual reactivity or judgment or emotions. So, whatever we've noticed in today's practice, even if it's the unpleasant, even if it's the judging mind, can we just breathe some softness around that and kindness and say, well done for noticing that the human mind can be judgy. Be curious about the judgment, where does the mind go? What makes it judge? Then we offer kindness around that judging, let it go, and try to go into understanding things a bit better as a compassionate friend. And that way, there is no right way or wrong way to meditate. Yeah, there's just whatever we experience. Then there's the reaction around that experience. This is pleasant, this is unpleasant. Maybe the thinking or the judging around that. Things should be this way or that way. They should be more like this or less like that. So we can observe that too. So there's like all the different layers. And we always have the breathing and the body to come back to at any time to give us that secure foundation, that base, that place to come home to as we sit with whatever is here. So we're pretty much at the end of our practice. If you're watching this again on the video is always on YouTube at Azure Living Mindfulness. And if you're watching it on the video, you might take time to maybe draw a little body map and color in different symbols to represent any sensations you found in the body today. And around that, you could even create symbols or colors for the emotional tone or the thinking or any impulses. And that's just a nice way to process anything that's come up during your practice. For those of us here, though, we've got a little bit of time to connect now and maybe share our whatever come up with us in our body scan. So I'm going to end our recording here.